the number one key to you transforming your life has to do with your self-image, how you see yourself. This is the main reason people may be like, oh, I want to go after that job that I've always wanted, or I want to go full-time doing what I love, or I want to go after that person that I'm attracted to. And then they feel this resistance, they feel these blocks, and things manifest as a reflection of that, and they wonder, why is it always so hard to change? It's the same reason that people are like, oh, I want to lose weight. But the problem is not that they're trying to lose weight, it's that the problem is that they see themselves as overweight to begin with. So what happens is, even though they may lose the weight for a period of time, when the self-image is them seeing themselves as a bigger person, as overweight, they'll always go right back to where they were. That's why they say that a lot of times what happens is people fall back to that. It's because of the identity. It's because of the way they see themselves. Your identity is controlling every aspect of your life, whether you're aware of it or not. And the thing that you're going to learn in this video is how to activate a new identity, how to embody that, and how that will absolutely transform your life. I really believe this video is unlike anything I've done before. It's not just a video where I explain ideas. It's going to be something where we do what are called activations for bringing in and knowing that we are now this new identity of what we prefer to be. And just to give you a little bit of a basis of this, back in even just a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I was working a 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes. And what I realized is that my reality, the way I saw myself, was I saw myself as a 9-to-5 job worker. I saw myself as somebody that was also unworthy. I felt unworthy because of my past. I was feeling a lot of resistance with where I was. And every time I would try to make videos on YouTube and I would try to go after my dreams, I felt these blocks and resistance. I would really be focused on what other people would think. And as those blocks and resistance just came up, guess what? I kept not taking action forward. I kept stopping myself, doubting myself, wondering, is it even worth it? And that was the biggest block in of itself. But then what I did is I became aware of that self-image. 90% of all transformation is awareness. Awareness of the old story, awareness of the old identity. So what I then did is I changed the way that I saw myself, and I started to embody, instead of the 9-to-5 job worker selling women's shoes, going into work every day wearing a suit, and talking to people and selling them expensive overpriced shoes. Instead, what I did is I started to see myself as a full-time YouTuber. That became my identity. I started thinking, acting, feeling equal to that reality. I realized that that reality, that version of me, was making daily videos, so I took on that identity in the 9-to-5 job. And while I was working 40 hours a week, the other thing I did is I simply decided that I'm going to do this the other 30 hours a week that I have, and I'm going to treat it as my full-time. So what happened is, over the course of a couple months, everything in my life completely transformed. I had a feeling, oh, maybe if it takes a year, I'm gonna do whatever it takes because this is who I choose to be. So realize that anyone's identity, your identity is extremely flexible. It's like a flexible little noodle. It's moving around all the time. The problem is that the way we see ourselves, we put ourselves into the same spot over and over again. Nope, that's not who I am. And then we put ourselves into a box. And that box keeps us entrained. Now, the first time I first learned about the self-image was when I read a book called Psycho-cybernetics. It's by a plastic surgeon in the 1960s. And what he realized is that people have an internal self-image that they remain equal to. It's like a cybernetic mechanism is like a thermometer on the wall. And a thermometer on a wall, if you set it to 75 degrees, guess what? If the window opens or whatever and it gets down to 70 degrees, the heater will kick on and get it back up to 75, or vice versa for the AC, because it's set at that base point. Most people have a self-image of how they see themselves, worthy of only making $20,000 a year or $50,000 a year, only able to have a certain type of relationship. They may see themselves as only single. They're not even worthy of a relationship. These are all subconscious stories, self-image set points that keep us in that reality until we become aware of it, until we make a new choice about who we are. That's the key to this whole process, is making a new choice about who we are. Now, originally, I learned about psycho-cybernetics back in like 2013, 2012. I did a 9-to-5 job at Nordstrom selling women's shoes before I went to Barnes, New York, which is a higher-end shoe department. And I realized that I saw myself as an average employee. I'd go in every day. We had this sheet in the back where you would look at the different, numbers from what people sold the day before. And I was always right in the middle. I wasn't the worst employee or like that sold the the worst, but I also wasn't on the very top. What I realized is I became aware of that self-image after I read that book, and I started to see myself as a top salesperson. Every day I went in, I just knew that the next morning I would see me at the top of that list. I also knew that I carried myself differently when I was helping customers. And guess what? I had more contagious energy. Within a short period of time, literally days, I was a top sales at the top of that list consistently. And all it was I changed my self-image. I made a new choice about who I am. Now this is the thing to remember. Who we think we are is on autopilot. All we got to do is wake up to that and then make a new choice about who we are and then begin to embody it. I call it being as if. When we are being as if, what we are doing is we are embodying that energy, and that then starts to become more and more of who we are. We just have to trust the process. We have to trust that frame. So in order to do this, and there's two main doubts that come up. There are three actually of the ego. The ego wants to keep you safe. The ego wants to keep you in the old identity because of three main reasons. One, it wants to be right. It wants to be right on its definition of who he or she is. Secondly, it wants you to stay safe. So doing something outside your comfort zone is going to seem scary, and it's not going to want to do that. It doesn't have certainty. A lot of times the ego likes certainty. And then three, victim. Sometimes our ego can be a victim or wants to be a victim because we get a sense of significance, or it justifies what we went through in the past. But the thing is that keeps us in the box. And the thing that I want to talk to you about and help you do in this video is break out of that box. So here is the thing that I want you to become aware of. And what you'll see on this is what we are going to do is right now, I want you just to become aware of these two things. You have an old self-image and a new self-image. Your old self-image was on autopilot and is equal to how you think, feel, and act is the reality you're in now, the labels you have, the habits you have, the characteristics you have, the stories you tell yourself about who you are. Labels. I used to have the label of I have ADHD, and I'm not worthy because of my painful past, and I'm not very smart. These were all different labels that I was attached to on my old self-image, the self-image that was on autopilot. And if you're wondering what your old self-image is, or the self-image that maybe you have now that you're about to let go of, it's what's in your reality right now. If it's you're only making, $30,000, $40,000 a year, then your self-image is that you are worthy of $30,000 to $40,000 a year, and most likely not less, or it wouldn't be worth it for you to do that. You see, become aware of what's already in your life if you want to know where your old self-image is. What habits do you have? What are you doing every day? Are you overeating? Are you eating stimulating foods? Do you see yourself as somebody that gives into peer pressure easily? If you just simply become aware of this, you then see it as autopilot, and then you can realize that it's just a story, and stories can be changed. So right now what I would like you to do, before we go into the next exercise, is to simply write down your old self-image. Literally pause this right now and write down your old self-image. I know this sounds cheesy, I know it sounds corny to actually do this, but I've done this with many people before, and writing it out brings out things that maybe you weren't aware of about yourself. What is your story about love? What is your story about money? What is your story about success? What is your story about health? What are your stories about them? How does that work for you? What are your beliefs about them? And as you become aware of them, you then begin to transform them. So right now, pause this, go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and pause. We'll put in some cool music right here, like elevator music. We'll put it in for 5 seconds. Daniel, if you could put that in for 5 seconds. Hopefully, you've done that exercise, and what you've done is written them down. Like I said, it's so powerful to actually write this down. It brings things out of you, makes you aware of it. When you see it, it then is different. But there's actually a purpose behind us also doing that. What I would like you to do with that piece of paper is get that piece of paper right now and look at it and realize that this has led you to this point now. So it's all actually served a purpose. Many times the pain of our past, the pain of what we go through leads us to a spiritual awakening and leads us to more clarity, more insight. So realize that it actually served you. This is important because if you resent it, like, oh, this is a crappy self-image, I'm so judgmental towards myself, then what you resist persists. This led you to where you are now. It served its purpose. It was just on autopilot though, and now it is time to let it go. So one thing that you can do to let this go is, first off, realize that we're gonna let it go in a minute. Actually, what we're gonna do first is something else. Now, what we wanna do now is do and wire in a new self-image. Now we're gonna do something with the old self-image here in a minute, but with the new self-image, what we're gonna do is write down on a new piece of paper. So take out a new piece of paper, however you're doing this, and write down. There's just something powerful about writing. If you do it on your iPad, that's cool too, whatever you're gonna do. New self-image. Now, how do you think, act, and feel as your new self-image? How do you prefer to be? What are your habits? What are the qualities of that version of you? The characteristics of that version of you? The body language, how do you carry yourself? What are the books that you consistently read? And as you become aware of these, you'll find that as you start to get into this flow, you start to carry a momentum with it. Now, before we do this though, this is the activation part that I'd like to do. We're gonna do this before and after. This is what you call a permission slip, doing something like this. This helps you to give you permission to wire in the new and then let go of the old, which we'll do here in a minute. So on a new piece of paper, your new self-image, this is what you're gonna do. Now, what I would like for all of us to do right now, there's something called outer intention, where all of us connect our energy fields together through visualization, and we can do that through sound. No matter when you listen to this video, and whether this video has been out for a month, a week, a year, you tap into this energy, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 ohms. Ohm is a frequency. It has been shown to be one of the highest vibrational frequency sounds. It's been around for thousands of years. Some people say it's the sound of the universe itself. And when you do this mantra, we all do it together, I want you to imagine that you're bringing light through the crown of your head into your body, and that you're literally downloading the highest self version of you. I want you to imagine that you are downloading the highest self version of you. And if you don't know what all these are right now, it's okay. You're going to download this state, this confidence, your higher self energy into your body. And as you do, you're then going to go into this little thing where you write it out, and you're going to see some very interesting things that you write. You're going to notice that you carry yourself in a different way. Then we're going to wire it in again, and what we're going to do is make this permanently who we are now, and a little activation. So right now, what I would like you to do is to just relax, watch, and then what we're going to do is a couple deep breaths in right now, and then we're going to do 3 ohms. And with every ohm, I want you to imagine that energy coming in through the top of your head, into your body, and also imagine that every single person listening to this is also experiencing the same thing, is experiencing some type of awareness within themselves, is becoming aware of more of who they are, and downloading more of their higher self. So right now, what I'd like you to do is we're gonna do this little exercise, just take a couple minutes, and this will help you to download that higher vibrational energy. So let's go ahead and take in a deep breath in. Breathe it out. Feel your body relax more and more. Now set the intention that you bring in the highest vibrational energy possible, and that you also bring in your future higher self, this high vibrational energy, this confidence, this empowerment, and that from this point going forward, it transforms your whole life. You're going to download this frequency, this energy within yourself. Taking another deep breath in. Breathe it out. Release any tension. Allow yourself to feel more and more relaxed. And realize that with every ohm you do right now, you are bringing through more and more high vibrational energy. And set the intention that everyone listening to this all over the world experiences a transformation, and they become their higher self, their future self, their most ideal version of them. As you do this, I'm doing this for every one of you. And right now what we're creating is a powerful energy between all of us. There's something called the collective consciousness that we're all connected to. And we're increasing that energy, that probability of all of us doing it. Now one more deep breath in and out. Now you can feel yourself relax even more. Now set the intention right now that with every ohm, imagine energy coming in through the crown of your head, out to the bottom of your feet, and feel yourself drop into your heart, to feel powerful and to get these insights that we are about to do. Now, as we take in this deep breath, we're then going to breathe out, and we're going to go Om, and it's going to be for as long as you feel like doing it, but you can follow me. I'm going to be doing it, and all of us are going to be doing it as well. So taking a deep breath. Bringing in high vibrational energy through the crown of your head in through your body, and realize with every breath you take, you're increasing this energy, becoming your highest self. Put the energy in your heart as well. As you put your energy and your attention there, it begins to grow that energy inside of your heart. Now ask for more of your higher self to come through. We have 2 more ohms, and imagine everyone else also experiencing the same thing. As you set the intention for them, they set it for you. Taking a deep breath now. Feel that inside of your heart begin to grow more and more. And realize now with this final Om, you're going to feel even more of your higher self energy flow inside of you, your future self, the confidence, the empowerment, the awareness that anything is impossible. Taking a deep breath. And realize that right now you've downloaded more of the highest version of you, that energy. And what I encourage you to do right now is to open up your eyes, if you close them, and now write down your new self-image. In this state that you are right now, you have access to more of your total self, more of your true self. Write down the qualities, how this version of you thinks, acts, and feels. The body language of that version of you, the kind of books that you read consistently, the things that you do on a daily basis. What are your daily habits? What are you focused on? Go ahead right now. You can go ahead and pause this. We're going to put in that cool elevator music as well. And what you can do is spend at least 4 or 5 minutes writing all of these things out, and then come back and we're going to wire that in even more. But the awareness of this is so powerful. You can't actually become it unless you know what that is. So write down this new self-image, how you think, act, and feel, and simply know and trust your higher self, this energy inside of you right now, to allow that to flow through. So go ahead and pause it and go ahead and do it. I hope that you just had a whole bunch of new type of information. It's been about 4 or 5 minutes, hopefully, that you took on that, and then you just came back. So what came through? Did anything interesting come through as you did this? Did you notice that there were different desires or maybe things that you're focused on that you weren't aware of? What you could do is comment them below, share them with all of us. Remember, as you declare this new identity, as you declare this new version of you, you literally start to become it. Now, remember that old piece of paper of the old self-image? This is what I would like you to do. Take that old piece of paper, that piece of paper of your old self-image, and realize it served you up until this point. But it is time to let it go now. And what I encourage you to do is to literally rip it up. You can rip it, you can also burn it in a safe manner. And as you rip it up, throw it away knowing that is no longer who you are. That was just an autopilot mind. That's it. And you don't have to be that anymore. You can be the way you prefer to be. And as you throw that away, that is a symbol of you letting it go. As you burn it, if you decide to burn it in a safe way, of course, you are watching it burn away the old self-image, the unawareness. That light is literally burning it away. And now what I encourage you to do is to realize that this is who you are now. From this point going forward, your life will take on a whole new level of synchronicity. Old things that no longer serve will begin to fall away. There may be some purging of that. There may be, now that you've let go, there may be some old temptations there. But realize it's not you anymore. This is who you are now. So now that you've written that out, you become aware of that, I encourage you to read that every single day, and also to ask that version of you in this state now, what is one thing you can do every single day that will wire in that identity? That's what I did with YouTube. I decided to make a video every single day. And within a year, within 3 or 4 months, I was able to, 4 or 5 months, I went full time, quit my 9-to-5 job. And I could have done it way sooner if I knew what I did now, I'll tell you that as well. So it can happen very fast when you really commit to it. You need to make a new choice about who you are. Thing is most people wait till they're at the absolute bottom for them to make that new choice. You don't have to continue to wait. Make that new choice now, and let's wire in this identity with one more grandiose Om. So imagine every single person here that is listening, becoming this version of them, and as you do that, they are imagining you, and then imagine you as this version of you, and simply know that after this process, after this video, you will never be the same. You will carry yourself differently. You'll have a new type of body language. You will find yourself attracted to the right books. You will find yourself naturally gravitating to things that really serve you in a powerful way. And you'll simply have this inner knowing that it is right, that it is meant for you. So now with one last Om, taking a deep breath in now. From this point going forward, you are a new version of you. You've made a new choice about who you are. You've declared it with these Oms, and from this point going forward, your life will be forever changed. So, if you got value out of this video, could you do me a favor? Like it if you haven't liked it. Share it as well. Help more people activate. The more people that do this exercise, the more powerful, the more it grows. So this is something that we can all do together. You can come back to this video anytime you want to do, because there'll be many times that you're probably redefining yourself, letting go of even the self-image that you begin to wire in now. And as you change it, you change your life. So with that, hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, peace, much love, and namaste.